A good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to round number 9 of the Formula Sim Racing Pro Championship. We're here in Japan for the Japanese Grand Prix at the Matsusaka circuit. We're going to be racing for 42 laps. I'll be your host today, Felix van Delft, and next to me we've got once again Aidan Millward. Welcome, Aidan. Looking forward to today.
I must talked over you. It's great to be here. Japanese Grand Prix, Matsusaka. It's one of the best tracks in the world, I think. For absolutely hammering rounds. You've got the opening S-bends and then the figure of 8 layout, the hairpin. It's going to be a great 42 laps, I think, here today.
Yeah, definitely. As you say, this track is one of my favorites personally, and I think there's a lot of people that also like this track very much. 18 corners, 5.8 kilometers long, and we're going to be racing here for 42 laps. Only one DRS zone, so the drivers are gonna have to use that to their advantage. Of course, it's on the start-finish straight, so it's the downhill towards turn 1, but turn 1 is pretty much no braking. I think it's just a little turn-in for these cars, and then braking hard for turn 2, of course. I guess the main overtaking spots will be turn 1, maybe the hairpin in sector 2, and perhaps into Spoon, but that's going to be a risky move. Then, of course, into the Casio Triangle, the final chicane of the track.
Yeah, the Casio Triangle, which is, like you said, the final chicane, is probably the best overtaking spot, provided you don't lose too much from the guy in front of you through the 130R, which is that really fast left-hander just before. But the hairpin, if the driver ahead gets a bad run out of that second Degner corner that you can just see before the bridge, as this is a figure of 8 track, but just the one DRS zone, you probably want that move to be finished before you get to turn 1, because in these cars it's not really corner, it just serves to get you set up for turn 2.
Yeah, definitely. So what do these cars have to offer us? 976 brake horsepower in the engine, a top speed of 370 kph. Don't think we'll be seeing that here today. But of course, still, I guess Suzuka relatively medium downforce. Still have quite a few little big straights, but of course the S's is where you really need the downforce. The weight of the car, 743 kilos, and of course the boost modes, the race and qualifying mode. Qualifying mode will mainly be used in qualifying, but if you use it in the race, you can use it in the race, but if you use it in the race, you probably wear their engine down a bit more, so drivers have to be careful about that. If they use it too much, their engine will blow up in a spectacular fashion and will not be able to finish the race. Let's hope everybody keeps that in mind and gets to the end of this race today.
Yeah, it's more of a track that people retire through crashes, particularly into the final chicane, which saw a very famous incident about 30 years ago that we probably don't talk about without triggering vast swathes of the fan base, but yeah, it happens, and turn 1 on the first lap. That can also cause a smash or two, as we see Luke Maguire coming through the final chicane and onto the start-finish straight to start a lap. He's got his DRS wide open, which sort of opens midway through that corner, and we're now on board. You can see how fast he'll go into turn 1, flat out, just chuck it in like so, then hammer the brake pedal down a couple of gears into turn 2, just trying to find where all the grip is, and then through the S's. He's up and down and side to side like a roller coaster through here, and there is a theme park next to the track, and then it's just on the edge of Aidan through the long right-hander, and then up through Dunlop, which is where Jules Bianchi had his tragic accident, up towards the 2 Degner curves, flick it in for the first one, down a few more gears into the second one, use the camber and the banking to get you set up on the exit. More runoff this year compared to what we've had before with the update from Studio 397, then into the famous hairpin. Try and get on the power as early as possible. There's a few lines you can take through there to maximise the attack you can have up over the hill, and then up towards Spoon Curve where Vettel and Verstappen collided a few years back, sent Vettel into one of his spinalas, and just using all the track possible. A little bit too wide on the second part, doesn't really affect him too much as there's all that runoff on the outside. Up over the top of the bridge, past the support paddock, and then 130R. If you lift here, then why? Just throw it in, plenty of grip, and then find your braking point. There's a little bit of a kink here, and then just throw it in for the first apex. Take as much as you can on the inside. Avoid the sausage curves on the left, and then try and hug the inside line to get the shortest route towards the line. And it's a 124 dead, which takes him into third provisionally.
Yeah, great lap there by Maguire, but also great to see some other drivers at the top of the standings so far in qualifying. Carlos Martin, newcomer here in this Pro Series, that's showing his pace, or I should say he's returning to the Pro Series. He's been driving in Formula Sim Racing for quite a few years, and at the moment in 5th, momentarily was provisional pole position until the rest of the drivers came along. But Netrex is looking very strong. You can see 4 cars within the top 6 of Netrex Grand Prix at the moment, so great for them.
Yeah, it's been really good. You've got those drivers all there within about a tenth and a half of each other. I'm just trying to see where Phil Krauss is. He's currently in 9th, the championship leader who took the lead of the championship back after the last round at Zandvoort. He's going to try and qualify as close to Luke Maguire as he possibly can. Luke Maguire just 0.026 off pole position right now.
Yeah, it's very close at the top at the moment. Entire top 14 within a second. Entire top 10 within about half a second. So that's great to see. So close to each other, even after only 1 qualifying lap. Of course, these drivers have a total of 3 laps they can do in the qualifying session. It's in theory it's 9 laps total, but of course that amounts to 1 out lap, 1 hot lap, and an in lap, which you can do 3 times.
Or you could just fill the car up and just bomb it out for 8 consecutive laps. But but that's probably not going to be probably very beneficial to you as Indrek Remets comes out through the final corner. That's a great shot there, just showing off the speed and the acceleration of the cars. And he's going to come across the line. He's currently in provisional 19th, and he will go nowhere because he's just started the lap. Oh, dear. Oh, it's a great start. Let's see what he can do on the soft tyres for maximum grip, maximum speed, maximum pace. Got the wick well and truly turned up. Engage party mode for this lap. He's probably running on fumes as well. Probably calculated exactly how much fuel he needs for the lap. And we can see, look at that, there's so much speed through that first part of Degner. Second Degner under the bridge. Figure of 8 course. I think it's probably the only figure of 8 now that Oran Park has been demolished. I suppose there's the Fiorano test track, but they don't actually race on it. And then down the hill towards Spoon. See what the car's like through here. Nice on the apex of the first part. Nice on the apex of the second part. Looking very tidy. Didn't maximise the runoff on the exit.
Yeah, in the meantime, his teammate Zolt Soeks has gone to provisional pole with almost 2 tenths to spare. That's great to see. Let's see how Indrek Remets finishes this lap. Also, Ivan Leenhoff, another Netrex driver, looking very quick in the first sector, purple around there. Let's see what Indrek Remets is able to do as he comes out of the final corner to set his second qualifying lap up to 19th. So not a great improvement, but Ivan Leenhoff looking very strong in that first sector.
Yeah, purple in the first sector, 35. Riding on board with him now. So he's going to go to the end of Sector 2. It's green, so he's not fastest here, so he's going to try and make some of it back up with a decent run through the chicane. Absolutely chucked it in. Did that upset the car? Oh, a little bit squirrely on the exit. Kept it all under control. That might lose him about 10th or 2. And then across the line, 124.1 for 7th place.
Yep. You could see the car getting a bit unsettled over those curbs in the final chicane. Look, Maguire now. Green in the first sector. Not an improvement in the second sector. Great to have this newly updated overlay with the sector times as Luke Maguire spins almost into the Casio triangle, and that's the end of his qualifying attempt. Only one more attempt left for him, and most of the other drivers, I think almost everybody, is on an out lap right now. As you can see on the track map, I don't believe there's actually a single driver at the moment on the hot lap. So we're gonna have to wait a little bit.
Yeah,
at the moment,
1 minute 50 remaining, so it's last chance saloon for a lot of these guys, provided they get across the start-finish line before the timer expires, and they'll be able to finish their lap, unless the server administrator's feeling a bit evil, and then just cancel your lap towards the end. That happened to me at Silverstone once. I was about 3 or 4 tenths up, just came out the final corner, and then session over, snooze you lose. I was like, oh. But here's Jukka-Pekka Lalu for Royal Blue Racing. Try saying that 3 times fast.
Yeah, I think he's also still on out lap. No sector time in sector 1, so he's just doing a bit quicker out lap than most of these other drivers.
I think he's trying to battle it round so he can get to the finish line before time expires. But Carlos Martin's on a personal best right now, 36 through the first sector. Taking that slightly wider line through the hairpin just to try and get a bit more of a straighter run up on the exit. And just like they're taking this long right-hander like it's not even there, and they're throwing it through spoon. These camera angles look amazing. Give you a really good idea of how fast it's actually going. Over the bridge, past the sport paddock again. This is where Fernando Alonso made Schumacher look like an amateur by swinging it around the outside in only said 20.05. You're not Peter Windsor, keep quiet. He throws it through the chicane. That second part of the chicane actually a little more open than it looks from the cockpit. And then hugging the inside line, goes across the line. He's up to 4th. Brilliant lap.
Yeah, but I think he would have wanted more. He was quickest in the practice session, I believe, earlier. So has to take 4th for now at least. He will not be able to do another lap time. Luke Maguire right now in the first sector. You could see car all unsettly in those first couple of corners. Let's see how that results in his sector time once he crosses that sector marker right here before the Degners. Throws it in there, and indeed, not the best first sector.
He's actually down on his personal best through here, so has that run through the Degners compromised the rest of the lap. He's got a bit of a slide on out of the hairpin. He's absolutely pushing to try and get himself ahead, because he's got Phil Krauss in 5th, not too far behind. And if Krauss gets a good start, then maybe Krauss can swing it around the outside of turn 1. He's probably thinking that all of these different scenarios in his head, but Luke Maguire very, very fast. He probably just wants pole position, to be honest, but as he comes up over the bridge, we'll see what he's like coming through 130R. He's still down.
Yeah,
I think he might just abandon this lap, but unless he does something absolutely mega through this final part of the lap. He's probably going to better his lap by 0.001 now, isn't he? No.
Yeah, no improvement. And Phil Krauss is not going to improve either.
That's an F.
And I think that's most of the drivers done. Lawrence Doherty coming to the line as well, with a slight improvement up to 8th from 9th where he was. And I think that is every driver done in this qualifying session, and the great qualifying session by Zsolt Sux and the entire Netrex outfit, I should say.
Yeah, they've done absolutely brilliantly in this session. Zsolt Sux there taking pole position by just over a 10th, and then another 10th back to Luke Maguire, who's been off the pace compared to what we've seen so far. I think he's had pole position at virtually every race this year, but his championship rival Phil Krauss down there in 5th. So very looking forward to this race, and hopefully everybody can get through turn 1 without any carnage. Definitely.
Before that, though, we'll go for a slight break before we jump into the 42 lap race here in the Pro Series. First, let's have a look how Michi Hoyer takes us around the lap of this Matsusaka circuit.
Welcome everyone, this is Formula Sim Racing. My name is Michi Hoyer and I welcome you to the track presentation of round 9, the Matsusaka Grand Prix, the penultimate race in the Formula Sim Racing 2020 series. We are out of the pit road and coming into sector 1. The track itself very technical and challenging for the drivers today. We have a late apex turn 2 here, which is the opening for a series of S's. I turn left and right through 3 and 4 with a little bit of an interesting bump there between 3 and 4. Through 5 already into 6. Line yourself up for a good exit so you have a good entry for 7. Compression when going up the hill, decompression when coming over the crest when the rear end gets loose. Turn 8 and 9, Deckner 1 and 2. Technical again, since Deckner 2 has a little bit of a banking towards the inside. So has the hairpin turn 10, but at the same time on the exit it goes a little bit up the hill as we have a little sprint towards Spoon Corner. And yeah, Formula 1 cars, lots of downforce. The track requires a lot of downforce, high wings, so easy sweep here through a double left-hand corner. The front right is screaming to mercy due to the fact there's so much downforce and so much grip. Drivers are flat out 100% on the throttle for quite some time, which requires quite a little bit of fuel saving during the race. But now we enter Kazuyo Triangle, which is the final turn of the Matsusaka circuit, and then we are up for the track presentation. DRS wide open across the line. As I said, best overtaking spot into turn 1, but at the same time you need to lift quite early and save some fuel before you head into the technical part of the circuit. Turn 3, stay on the inside because there's a stupid bump that can fuck up turn 4. Turn 5, and you need to be very much in balance with your car. Stay towards the inside here of the curb. Turn 7 can be flat out if the car balance is pretty much alright. End the sector 1, quick through Deckner 1 into Deckner 2. Early on the throttle again, below the bridge. Remember, this track is an 8-figure kind of track. Then the hairpin traction is so important because here you need to start getting yourself into position for a potential overtake at turn 1, because right now, ever so important, Spoon Corner, super quick first right-hander, just don't want to come too as far out of the track as I've been, because that second part of Spoon Corner is so damn important that you carry all the speed. 130R flat out, no issue whatsoever. Heavy braking zone into the Kazuyo Triangle. First one, right one, and then traction is everything that is about coming out of Kazuyo Triangle across the line. That is one flying lap here around the Matsusaka circuit. It will be an ever so interesting race because overtaking will be difficult, fuel saving will be a factor, and then other people doing 1 stops, 2 stops, maybe 3 stops. There is plenty of options available for this race, and I'm pretty sure you guys will enjoy it. 1400, 1630 and 1900, the GMT, ACA Pro and the World Championship drivers will fight it out for the win.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 9th round of the Formula Sim Racing Pro Championship here in Japan for the Matsusaka, or for the Japanese Grand Prix at the Matsusaka circuit. 42 laps of racing coming up very shortly. We've just had the qualifying, Aidan, and what do you think are these drivers going to do in the race strategy-wise? We've got, of course, the 3 tires, soft, medium, hards. I guess 2 stop, 1 stop, maybe if somebody would try, but I guess that's a bit of a reach, isn't it?
1 stop if you're starting on the softs probably won't work, is that they're going to get absolutely abused through the opening portion of the track. Then you'd probably have to sort of save for the rest of the lap and then bomb it through there again. So I'm expecting a two-stop from most drivers, but a lot of the drivers near the back end of the grid, starting on the hards, probably to try and get a massive undercut on everybody else. So that'll be interesting to see. I know Cam Rogers starting on the hards, as are a couple of the others near the back end of the grid. So I expect them to be sort of the back end of the points coming into the race.
Yeah, of course. The main thing for today to look out for is the championship battle between Philip Krauss and Luke Maguire. There's currently 9 points in between the two. Philip Krauss leading with 114 points, and Luke Maguire has 105 points. So technically, Philip Krauss would be able to take the championship here today if Luke Maguire DNFs and Philip Krauss finishes second or higher. But of course, that's quite unlikely. And if Philip Krauss wins, I guess Luke Maguire can also still finish up to something like 12th, I think. I'm not entirely sure about that, but we'll have a look at that during the race. We have the live standings, of course, so we'll be able to keep you updated on that during the race. Both of these drivers starting a little bit further down the grid, aren't they, Aidan?
Yeah, we've got Luke Maguire in third and Phil Krauss in fifth. So Krauss is going to be staring at the diffuser of Maguire's car when they're actually on the grid, as they just pull away for the formation lap now. So there's quite a lot of space to the outside of the track, back on the racing line. So Phil could try something there, or he might try and get a decent start and cut to the inside and try and take Luke Maguire into turn one. There's absolutely a wealth of ways you can sort of make an attack into turn one, but I think realistically you just want to keep it nice and calm for the first couple of laps and then take your opportunities as they come later in the race.
Yeah, definitely. So let's quickly go throughout the grid. Soltsuk starting first, Marek Godek next to him on the second place. Third, Luke Maguire, then of course second in the championship, as we mentioned. Carlos Martin, relatively new here in this year's Pro Series. In fourth, Philip Krauss. Fifth, Ivan Leonov, a winner last time around. Victor Ivanov. These two always get me mixed up. Victor Ivanov 6th, winner last time around. Ivan Leonov 7th, Lawrence Doherty 8th, Noah Rovers in 9th, Mateusz Kolman in 10th, then Jukka-Pekka Lalu 11th, Vlad Tokarev 12th, 13th Ton Onderbanger, 14th Christian Lazaro, 15th João Piais, Al Presidente Cameron Roger in 16th, Tom Lombert 17th, Edward Batala in 18th, Arif Roslan in 19th, Matthew Williams in 20th, 21st, Indrek Rimates, and rounding up the grid in 22nd, we've got Gerard Batala.
The car's just coming through the spoon curve now as we look at Indrek Rimates in 21st of the 22 runners we've got here today. The entire grid separated by 1.5 seconds, which is pretty close. Very, very tight competition here in Pro. And then we've got the WC, the creme de la creme of open wheel racing in rFactor 2, coming up probably about 45 minutes after this race ends. So no Formula 1 today, but we've still got some great simulated racing over the course of this Sunday for you.
Definitely, and of course these championships are all made possible thanks to our sponsors SimLab, 3D Rep, and IMB Racewear. They are giving us some nice prizes, and of course for this Pro Championship as well, the Pro Champion will get a package from IMB Racewear, which will include a hat, a t-shirt, set of gloves, and a set of boots. So that's a great prize to win. At least that's what I would think. And let's see how hard they will fight for it. Of course, Soltsuk starting from pole position. The championship battle is a little bit behind that, but we'll try to keep an eye out on that, and also on the live championship standings throughout the entire race as it unfolds.
Yeah, Ivan Leonov, look at the way he's parked his car. He's almost in the middle of the track. He's looking at that middle of the track and just thinking, that space, that's mine. But we will be looking towards Phil Krauss and Luke Maguire into turn one, see what happens there.
Lights will be coming up very shortly. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 lights. And we are racing here in Japan for the 9th round of the Pro Championship. It's been a good start for Zoltsuks. Next to him, Marek Godek didn't get away quite too well. And there's a car flying already in the background. Who's that? Not sure about that, but Philip Krauss. And
Maguire
already up one position, Philip Krauss. So he will be starting to challenge Luke Maguire straight away in this race.
Yeah, great start from Phil Krauss. He's now right up the back end of Luke Maguire already, trying to pile on the pressure. Just want to see what's going on. Tom Oldenmenger has retired, as has Tom Lombatz. They didn't even make the first corner, so chaos even before turn 1 as the cars fly through the second deck in the corner for the first time.
Indeed. So a few drivers already out of the race. 3 drivers out of the race. Indirect mates, Tom Oldenmenger and Tom Lombatz. Won't be getting further than, I think, the formation lap. For now, everybody...
Probably try and get a replay of that because it sounded like a biggie.
Yeah, we'll try and see if we can get that sorted. But for now, let's keep an eye out on this battle for the lead.
Sux just has a 0.9 of a second gap to Marek Godek in second place. Slipstream up the back end of the track, not as powerful as we'd thought here. Oh!
Almost throwing up the inside of 130R. Now he's going for the move in the Casio triangle side by side with Marek Godek. Around the outside there of the second part of the chicane. Makes the move stick. Yeah, great move there by Maguire. Now Philip Krauss, I think, is immediately going to go for a move as well on the inside of the go speed. No DRS, so you can see the slipstream from Maguire helps Marek Godek keep Krauss.
Oh, that was close.
Krauss indeed.
Almost lost the rear end.
And Carlos Martin and Ivanov right behind them now, trying to take any advantage of some small mistakes that Krauss and Marek Godek in front of him will make.
Luke Maguire's pulled about half a second on Marek Godek already, so trying to get as many cars in between him and Krauss as possible as they come around on lap 2. So a very, very frantic opening couple of laps here. But will Phil Krauss try and get past Godek as well, because he wants to get as many points as he possibly can.
Here from the rear wing of Marek Godek, looking back onto Philip Krauss. What will Krauss do? I think he's going to wait for now. Carlos Martin, the car behind that, of course, also eagerly watching this battle unfold in front of him.
DRS will be next lap, won't it?
It will indeed.
But they won't have it because the DRS activation point is here, so it'll be the end of the next lap that they'll be able to use it. So Phil Krauss is going to have to rely on an absolutely epic exit from the final corner. So I think, to look at the gap between Krauss and Godek and Maguire already. Maguire is off, and now Godek isn't getting the help of DRS. Well, sorry, not DRS, but the slipstream of Maguire in front. You can just see that red dot in the distance there. That's how quick Luke Maguire is. But we also know that Maguire isn't the best when it comes to looking after his tyres. So if he tries to bomb it around too much to catch up to Zoltschuk's in the lead, those tyres are going to be very, very second-hand come the time they come around to pit.
Yeah, interesting to see the lap times. Last time around, Luke Maguire did a 128.6. Marek Godek and Philip Krauss only did a 130.3. So it's almost 1.5. It's more than 1.5 seconds slower than what Maguire was able to do in that last lap. So Philip Krauss really getting stuck here behind Marek Godek, and it's also interesting to see what Maguire will then do strategy-wise, because if he's this much quicker than all the other drivers around him, perhaps he's pushing those tires a lot more and going for an extra stop later on.
Yeah, I think Krauss might start thinking about playing the long game here, because you don't win the race on lap 2 of 42. There's still 40 laps left. So if he's saving the tyres, go deeper, might try and get some sort of overlap later on. Maybe even have a softer compound towards the end, maybe the mediums, whereas Maguire might have to bolt on the hards.
Yeah, Krauss again a bit too far back. He will have DRS now. See, closing in quite rapidly downhill, of course, here. Going for the inside. Wasn't much room left by Godek. Of course, he defended that well. And Krauss had to back out of it.
Yeah, there's almost desperation from Krauss there, sticking the car into a gap that was only ever going to get smaller, and Godek left just enough room to avoid an accident.
Yeah, it's pretty much one big train from Godek all the way down to 10th, Mateusz Kolman and Vlad Tokarev behind that. All of these drivers waiting to see if they can get past the driver in front of him, but of course want to play the long game. Don't try to make any too risky moves at this point in the race. Of course, there's still 39 laps to go.
Well, Maguire's got 3 seconds to go deck already. So yeah, 1.5 seconds per lap that gap's going up.
Yeah, last time around it was a bit less. Maguire last time around 29.3 and Marek Godek at 29.5. Zsolt Sux did a 29.0, so let's see if Maguire can catch that networks of Zsolt Sux in the next coming laps. Krauss once again will try on the start-finish straight with DRS. Needs to get a good exit out of this chicane.
It's quite a good chicane from Krauss, but it was also a good chicane from Godek. Krauss will have DRS. He looks a little bit closer this time round, and this is going to be as easy as you like into turn 1 here. So now Krauss has been released. He can now pull away and maybe catch up to Maguire in front. But how far back is Godek going to drop? Because that is quite the train in behind him. The gap between Sux and Maguire now 1.5 seconds up front. Krauss 4.8 off the lead.
Let's see if we can get a quick replay of what happened actually at the start with those 3 DNFs. You have to start on board with Indoor mates.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, already 1 car flying. And indeed 2 or 3 cars in the...
Was that Cameron Roger in the wall?
I think it might have been, and you see your Indoor mates
without... He's got no wing.
Yeah, well, he's also got no rear wheel, so... I guess that's not going to help him. Let's see if we can get him on board from Cameron Roger. You can see indeed Cameron got hit there. I think he got away quite lucky, did he? He somehow...
suspension's going to be...
Yeah, he somehow didn't lose his suspension like some of the other cars did. But definitely another incident with Cameron Roger at the start of the race.
I'm just going to go on board with him. His car seems to be driving in a straight line, so he is a very lucky boy.
I guess he is. Marek Godek now under full pressure from Carlos Martin and Victor Ivanov behind him. Philip Krauss already got about a second away from him in that last lap. Luke Maguire not really able to close in to Zsolt Sux too much. Last lap was about 2/10 quicker. The gap between them is just over a second now. Let's see if Maguire is able to get even closer and get it within that DRS window so we can maybe try to overtake him down the start-finish straight.
Yeah, Maguire took a huge chunk out of Sux's lead and then it sort of dropped back. So we're kind of, well, being on lap 6 of 42, we're now in the phase where the tyre will start to drop off. So going faster is going to be a little more difficult. And if, I mean, this is only my personal experiences with driving in rFactor 2s, that when the tyres start to drop off, it takes me 3 laps or so to get used to where they've dropped off to and get back onto the pace that I can do, which isn't particularly quick, you know, let's be honest, but it's a weird sensation when the tyres start to drop off because they feel like ice for a little bit, and then you sort of go, that's what they're doing now. Okay, let's drive around that. But these guys can do it a lot quicker than I can.
Yeah, Carlos Martin got around Marek Godek into the Casio triangle. Now Victor Ivanov's going to go straight away. Getting a bit squeezed there by Marek Godek on the start-finish straight. Let's see, Ivanov still side by side here, but this next corner is going to be his inside and got the move done there. Great bit of drive again. Marek Godek losing 2 positions in the space of just only a few corners.
Yeah, it's not going very well for Godek, down to 6th from 2nd before lap 10, so he's losing a position sort of every 2 laps at this rate. There's a replay.
Yeah, it's the onboard from Carlos Martin. You see him closing in before 130R, closing in very rapidly here. And then
it didn't help. Yeah,
outside,
it didn't help that Godek hit the grass on the inside of 130R. Making a little bit more contact, and then Godek banging sort of panels with Carlos Martin and Victor Ivanov down the start-finish straight here.
Yeah, a few bits of contact, trying to leave the absolute minimum amount of required room. But I think a great battle. Godek trying to keep the guys behind him, actually behind him, but struggling to do so at the moment.
Now Godek's under pressure from Leonov and Doherty, so yeah, it really is going backwards as Maguire is now in DRS range of Zolt Sux for the lead now.
He is indeed, so we'll keep an eye out on that, see where he will try to overtake Sux. We saw the first pit stops happening in the Academy series earlier today, around lap 10, 11 and 12. People that were doing a bit longer first stint did about 13, maybe 14 laps, but I think that's stretching it. Let's see where they will start pitting. I'm guessing Maguire might even pit in the next 1 or 2 laps.
Yeah, they probably could take it to lap 15 if they wanted, but as we know, Maguire is a guy who likes to get through his tyres. So we need to see how much of a battering those tyres have taken over the last 7 or 8 laps, and what strategy he'll put himself on. He tried a 3-stop or a 2-stop last time out. It didn't really work for him, and he finished quite low down the order with some contact and some spins, and that allowed Phil Krauss to take the lead of the championship again. So we'll see what he can do. Probably make amends for it this time round. But Zolt Sux keeping things nice and calm at the front here.
Let's see, rear wing will open up for Luke Maguire down the start-finish straight. Where will he be able to position his car? It's too far back.
Way too far back,
yeah.
But now he's going to be in the dirty air through the S's here, so those front tyres are going to be crying by the time he gets to Degner 2.
Indeed, Ivan Leonov now struggling to get past Marek Godek. You could see Marek Godek taking the inside line into turns 1 and 2 there to try and fend off the driver behind him. I think there's a few pit stops happening, so that's why you see some positions moving around in the tower. Cameron Roger had a pit stop, I believe.
It's not saying anybody's in the pit lane here.
It doesn't indeed.
No, I saw Williams drop down a little bit, so he may have made contact somewhere along the line.
Let's see if we can get a replay of that in just a bit. For now, let's keep an eye on Marek Godek, because Leonov is very close here, coming into Spoon Corner. Had a bit of a peak, but it's not really a corner where you can throw the car up the inside easily. You really have to trust that the driver in front of you won't turn in, otherwise it will end in tears.
Yeah, it's a place where the move has to be 130% on before you even think about sticking the car up the inside. But Leonov coming up behind Godek here. They've got such similar cars. One's a Go Speed and one's a Netrex.
Zolt Sux into the pits.
Oh, here we go.
Leader of the race into the pits before Luke Maguire. That's interesting to see. Perhaps a bit of a different strategy is going on to the hard tires.
Oh, wrong way.
A bit of a wiggle there on the pit exit.
That's not going to do it. Oh! Oh, no.
The Trillis car there for Matthew Williams really had to slam on the brakes to avoid the net race leader there, Zolt Sux, as he came out of the pit lane.
That happened to me in a touring car race a couple of weeks ago. There was a car stopped in the middle of the track at Thruxton, which is the fastest track in Britain. And it was at the fastest point of the track, and Jack Nicholls went one way, and another driver went another way, and there was just a Subaru straight ahead, and I just went straight into the side of it, and that took me out of the race. So it's horrible when that thing happens. You just pull out behind a car, and there's another car going much slower in front of you, and there's nothing you can do to stop. But he obviously did, but that was shaking him up a little bit.
Let's see what Luke Maguire will do this time around. You would think he would want to defend track position and then also go into the pit lane now to prevent the undercut from Zolt Sux, or at least make sure he doesn't gain too much time in this pit stop window.
There we go. Yeah, I just saw Phil Krauss. He absolutely launched it into the first part of the chicane, so he's going to try and put in a couple of decent laps here before making his own pit stop.
So, medium tires for Maguire, that's interesting. He will definitely not be doing a one-stop. I don't think Sux will be doing a one-stop either, though. But interesting to see that different strategy for Luke Maguire here as he comes out of the pit lane. How close is it?
Maguire will probably be doing a medium towards the end, while someone like I'm still learning names. Zolt Sux will probably whack another set of softs on towards the end of the race. So, Maguire nearly having a spin, following behind the Burst Esports car in front of him here.
And he rejoined in the middle of traffic here, as we saw Zolt Sux rejoining just in front of Matthew Williams and João Pitaes, but Maguire is right behind them. So a bit of a tough strategy call from HM Engineering, I would say. Perhaps they should have pitted Maguire one lap earlier to avoid him rejoining in this traffic. He's going to have to find a way around these drivers without hitting them, I would want to say.
This is what he did at Zandvoort last time out. He got put in traffic, then started being really aggressive to try and clear it, and he just ended up having these silly mistakes, spinning around like a top in the opening portions of the lap, 2 laps running. So he just needs to be a bit calmer and get through. He's got the better tyres, he's got the faster car, he's the faster driver. Just needs to be patient. Don't stick it at the inside of 130. Oh, there we go. Right, he's going to try and launch it into the chicane here. Onto the outside. No.
Didn't really have the speed to. And
no. He will now. He will now.
Yeah, surely DRS also will open. However, also for Tom Oldemenger, or sorry, João Pitaes, I should say, as he got the DRS from Matthew Williams in front of him. Maguire up the inside now. It's going to be tight. But Pitaes doesn't really defend it too much. Also, no real point for him to do so.
Yeah, Pitaes is under no obligation to move out of the way, so he put up a decent fight. But I think at that point he just saw the car go up the inside, just like, this ain't worth it, and just let him go.
Yeah, exactly. So the gap between Luke Maguire and Zolt Sux is now about 5 seconds. Maguire really losing out in this pit stop phase.
Phil Krauss is 1.6 second lead to Victor Ivanov in front. As he comes through Spoon, we'll see if he hits this lap, or maybe take it for 1 extra lap. Depends on how much his tyres got affected in the opening laps, trying to follow. I can't remember the guy's name now. It's I'm trying to watch 3 different things at once here, and it's all kicking up. But Maguire into 10th. Matthew Williams in front. Williams qualified quite low down the grid, as it so happens.
Yeah, here we go. Maguire on the inside, 130R. That's got to be close, but should be able to make this move stick. Still side by side on the exit. Now you have to leave the space. Only just did so, trying to keep the inside for the defense here. Carlos Martin and Zolt Sux is... he's just getting past Victor Ivanov, who just came into the pit lane. It looked a bit weird on the timing. Luke Maguire now well past him, and Carlos Martin now I think getting past João Pitaes as well as his teammate is just coming out of the pits there, Victor Ivanov.
Well, Krauss has gone round again, so definitely some life in the soft tyres there.
Yeah, of course Maguire lost quite a bit in this pit stop phase. Sux, however, I think he got a real nice lead now over Maguire, and Phil Krauss probably as well. Only 12 or 13 seconds between him and Phil Krauss, so Phil Krauss will be rejoining right around Carlos Martin and João Pitaes if we were to pit now.
It'll be interesting to see what happens here in terms of an undercut for Krauss, but he will have fresher tyres than everybody around him, so he should be able to clear up those he comes up against. The championship fight well and truly on this week.
It definitely is, and the same will happen for the World Championship later on. The gap between Jurnej Simoncic and Petr Broljak came down to only 11 points after a disconnection for Jurnej Simoncic, so make sure to tune in for that World Championship race later on today as well at 18:40 GMT to see how that championship battle will unfold. Here we go, Carlos Martin around the outside of Matthew Williams into the Casio triangle, late braking for Martin, and is able to go around the outside. Great move indeed.
8th place for Carlos Martin now, as the train comes across the start line. Lawrence Doherty in the pit lane, Jukka Lalu in the pit lane.
Victor Ivanov getting past João Pitaes there. Clean on the start-finish straight. Not much João Pitaes will be able to defend there. And now Ivan Leonov will try to get past him as soon as possible as well. Phil Krauss still out on the racetrack. Last lap for him was a 130.1. Stoltzuk did a 129.5, so about 6/10 quicker. Luke Maguire about a second quicker. And Carlos Martin, of course, he just came out of that traffic, so he'll be setting his quicker lap times now. But in the traffic, he did a 130.3, so that's actually slower than Phil Krauss.
Yeah, I think Phil Krauss should pit this lap. He's going to start losing too much time now, and it will be pointless having stayed out that long. But he's coming up towards the sort of the latter stages of the lap, so we'll see what happens. Into the Casio triangle as we see Viktor Ivanov coming through Spoon. Use all that runoff that they've gifted everybody now. And then up towards 130 as Phil Krauss indeed pits this lap.
Then let's see where he will rejoin. I'm guessing it's going to be around Viktor Ivanov, maybe just behind as Ivanov goes around the outside of Matthew Williams into this chicane. He's going to be able to make it stick. He needs to leave the room there just a little bit on the exit, but great move there. And now Ivan Leonov is going to try and do the exact same thing as Viktor did one lap ago, and Phil Krauss there rejoining just in front of Viktor Ivanov.
Carlos Martin, but he's in behind Maguire, but fresher tyres, and Maguire has to make another stop at least.
Yeah, indeed, Phil Krauss on the hard compound tyre, 28 laps to go. He did 14 laps on the soft compound. I think he might be able to do that one stop if he manages these tyres enough. He's going to have to watch out for the quicker driver. If he's actually tyre saving, the quicker drivers that are on a 2-stop, for example, Carlos Martin might be. And Luke Maguire, he's not going to the end on his medium set, so we'll be watching for him to go into the pit lane once more, at least.
Just 3 point... no, that's not right. 2.7 seconds between Maguire and Krauss right now. I think Krauss might be able to catch up to Maguire because of the fresher hards as the mediums start to drop away, and then the performance crosses over, as it were. But he's still comfortably out with no real traffic around him, so they managed to pull that pit stop off pretty well compared to what Maguire had to go through.
Fastest driver on track right now is Viktor Ivanov with the 128.8. Luke Maguire last lap did a 128.9. So Ivanov looking quick here today as well, as he won last time around in Zandvoort.
Carlos Martin still less than a second behind Krauss here.
Yeah, he's able to stick with him quite nicely so far.
We've only had the three retirements, Indrek Remitz, Tom Oldenmenger and Tom Lombards at the start of the race, who barely made it to turn 1. Still 19 runners. And we've got Cam's down in 18th place, so he hasn't managed to make much of a dent with his harder starting tyre strategy. That will be because he ended up in a wall at turn 1, which didn't help. Things may cycle round again later.
Stoltzuk's now caught up to Vlad Tokarev, who's on the alternate strategy. Started on the hard tyres and hasn't pit yet because of that. I'm guessing he's going to come into the pit in the next 10 laps or so. Stoltzuk goes around the outside of him pretty easily. No real reason for Vlad Tokarev to fight it too hard, of course. He will just lose time compared to the drivers that he's actually fighting. Stoltzuk still looking very, very feisty here right now. About 3.5 seconds in front of Maguire still.
I think Tokarev... Has he pitted yet? Because I think he'll have picked up a track cut at some point then, because his timing thing went blank. Which can be done at the chicane pretty easily if you take too much on the inside. But Stoltzuk's just 1 second ahead of Tokarev right now. On board with Luke Maguire coming up towards the spoon curve. lapping about half a second off his best right now because he's on the softer tyre. Well, sorry, the harder tyre. 3 seconds to the guy behind, as you can see on the little graphic there. And 1.3 to the guy in front. Decent move through the chicane. It's actually taken a couple of tenths out of the lead. But he's on softer tyres compared to Tokarev in front. And you can just see the white car of Phil Krauss coming up behind.
Yep, Phil Krauss lapping around the same lap time at the moment as Sotsux and Luke Maguire. Carlos Martin behind that, just a few tenths slower, and Victor Ivanov actually quite a bit quicker last lap around. 128.8, 75 or 857. Again, quickest driver on track still.
Going back towards the tail end of the top 10, we've got Godek, Roivers and Doherty nose to tail, with Arif Roslan joining the back of that queue as well. As they come through the Degners, on boarding Noah Roivers, coming up towards the hairpin. It's a very, very big train, with Matthew Williams just leading it by half a second at the front.
Yeah, all of these drivers, of course, will have the slipstream from the driver in front. Matthew Williams leading this train.
I think all of these drivers in behind Williams are going to have DRS on the front straight, so this is going to be fun going into turn 1.
I think it will be indeed. See this massive train behind that orange driller's car. Marek Godek is thinking about it into the Casio triangle. Kapita says to defend. It's going to lose him a little bit of time on the exit here compared to Matthew Williams in front, and also Marek Godek behind him. Marek touches the grass there and almost loses the car. Is able to have a little snap and just catch it, but it's going to allow Noah Rovers alongside him into turn 1. Space has to be given. Now turn 2 is also going to be the inside for Noah Rovers. Let's go off the rake a little bit and gets that move done. Great stuff by Noah Rovers there.
Yeah, let's put him into the top 10. But now I think Lawrence Doherty is going to be having a look at Godek now. I think Godek started in second place and has just done nothing but go backwards since then. So Doherty will have a go at him, then Lazaro will probably want a sniff, as will Arif Roslan later on.
Indeed. And Godek's race really hasn't been the best today. Gerard Batala has had an incident and is out of this race. Doherty gonna go up the inside in the airpin. Ooh, almost loses the car. I think he's lucky there that Marek Godek saw it coming and moved out of the way. Otherwise it would have been a massive incident.
Forced Godek off the track as well. That was Lazaro almost going on the grass to try and get around him, as Lazaro just tries to fire one at the inside of the spoon curve, but Godek's got that one well and truly covered. Yeah, that was quite naughty from Roivers into the hairpin there. Locked the rears, almost clanged into him, and now Lazaro's got past into the 130R, and Godek has to go off the track completely. And now he's going to be under attack from Arif Roslan. Marek Godek's race has not gone well today.
It has not at all. Now we will get the arrest, of course, from Christian Lazaro in front of him, but I don't think that will be enough. As we see in the foreground, Matthew Williams get past João Pitaia side by side through turns 1 and 2. And Williams has to back out of it now. Noah Rovers is going to try. No, he's not backed out of that. And Marek Godek lost another position. Or he gained, actually, compared to Christian Lazaro again on the start-finish straight.
Godek down to 12th overall now. Jared Batala just showing us a DNF on my screen, so it may be technical issues for him. Phil Krauss is just about 1.5 seconds behind Luke Maguire now. So that gap getting progressively smaller and smaller, as Maguire is now at the back of Vlad Tokarev and will be in DRS zone come the end of the lap.
Yeah, here we go. Perhaps might even do the move into the Casio triangle. He has the speed. Ooh, Tokarev has a bit of a wiggle in the 130R. That's going to allow Maguire up the inside and gets past relatively easily there.
Now on with Phil Krauss. As Maguire's gone hyper defensive, hugging that pit wall to try and stop a move into turn 1. Maguire drifts back to the other side of the track. That fight is not over yet, but this battling is going to allow Krauss to close right up, which isn't going to help Luke Maguire's cause at all.
Back to the battle for P9 and P8, effectively. João Pitaes, Noah Rovers, Matthew Williams, all still very close to each other, and Lawrence Doherty at the back of that train together with Marek Godek and Christy Lazaro.
.21 laps in, so we've pretty much reached the half distance. So now would be a good time to show the as it stands table, wouldn't it? To see what would happen with if it stays as is.
Let's have a look at that indeed, as we quickly transition to that. So here we would have the current championship standings. Philip Krauss would lead by about 4 points to Luke Maguire, so that will be a definite interesting last race that we would have in Brazil. And then behind that, Zotsuk technically has a chance to win the championship still if Phil Krauss DNFs, but pretty much it's all about Phil Krauss versus Luke Maguire at this point.
Well, Phil Krauss, as you've just seen behind that little graphic, has managed to get past Vlad Tokarev now, who still has not pitted. And now Carlos Martin swings by. So it's the gap, just 1.2 seconds between Maguire and Krauss. So Maguire lost quite a bit of time in that scuffle with Vlad Tokarev there.
Williams getting past João Pitaes here down the start-finish straight, and I think Noah Rivers and Lawrence Doherty were also going at it. Lawrence Doherty now really close to that rear wing of Rivers, but he can't really do anything in this part of the track. Might be able to do something in the hairpin, as he tried before. That didn't really work out. Who's this? On the inside, I think that's a left car. Is that? No, it's Victor Ivanov. Victor Ivanov has made a mistake somewhere. And
he's got no front wing.
He's got no front wing. Let's have a look what actually happened to Ivanov. Was it a mistake on his own? All kind of cars getting past him.
I think he's hit someone at the rear, I think. Because if he'd gone off, he's just gone straight across at the hairpin. He's got no front end grip on that thing at all. He's going to be stone dead last when he comes out of the pits at the end of this lap.
Here's Victor Ivanov on board. Coming through the first sector. Did he just make a mistake? He made a mistake on his own. Lost the rear in the S's and just slammed into the wall. Last week's race winner, now effectively out of the running for, I think, even a top 10 finish. Has to do all the entire lap back to the pit lane and get a fresh front wing on his car.
Yeah, Vlad Tokarev, his teammate, has just entered the pit lane. And I think that was Ivanov. Yeah, he's escaped.
Yeah, call it quits. Another DNF added to the tally. And now this battle between the top 6, top 7 is still going at it quite fiercely. Phil Krauss is about 1.5 seconds behind Maguire still.
Just managing the gap by the looks of things. Maguire's tyres are going to be dropping off faster than Krauss's will. It's just that playing the long game that we were talking about earlier. Phil Krauss in turn keeping Carlos Martin comfortably behind him. Solchuk's leading by 3.2 seconds here. Let's see. Oh, what was that?
Lawrence Doherty tried it once again in the hairpin, and once again it ended up in tears, and now even bigger tears because Lawrence Doherty no front wing, João Pitaes no front wing. Let's see if we can get a replay of what we just saw that on the in the background, pretty much. Let's have a look on board with Doherty coming into that
and we just saw the tyres go straight on into a wall as well. Okay.
Ooh, we tried it up the inside. Let's have another look at it. He tried it up the inside here, coming into that kink. That's not really a place where you want to go.
No.
And then it just ended up in the wall.
It's another case of, was there a gap? Yes. Was there a gap when he got there? No.
Here
so that'll be
interesting
to see that one looked at afterwards. And Pitaes almost would have got away with it, but that wall just stuck out at the wrong time, and that took his front wing off. But Arif Roslan out of the race as well with an accident. So it's starting to kick off now. We lost Coleman as well, according to the on-screen graphic there.
We did indeed. So pretty much, if you finish this race, you're gonna get a point. Cameron Roger carrying that last points paying position at this moment in time. Actually gonna get 2 points because he's in 14th. Noah Rivers close to Matthew Williams still. This battle for 6th place has been heated throughout the entire 24 laps that we've done so far. And also quite a few incidents.
Krauss and
Maguire.
Maguire.
They came close quite quickly there, and Carlos Martin right behind that as well. Somebody comes into the pit lane. That's Luke Maguire. Luke Maguire into the pit lane so early on already. How many laps did he do on this medium tire? He did 13 when he did 10 on the softs. So he's going to go to another set of the medium tires.
Well, this doesn't last very long at all.
It's not at all. And now
if he's doing 13 laps on the softs, he's going to have to come in again.
He's done 10 on the softs, 13 on the mediums, and he's going to do 18 now on another set of mediums, I guess. Interesting strategy once again from Luke Maguire.
Will they last that long though?
Yeah, I don't know. But don't ask
now,
me.
Look at all this traffic he's now going to clear.
Yeah, I really sometimes... I'm always always flabbergasted by the strategy calls from HM Engineering and Luke Maguire, because he has the pace, but it always ends up in tragedy when these...
He almost lost it there as well.
Yeah, when these kind of strategy calls get put him in such awkward positions, and then it just ends in tears for him. It's been happening since the start of the season. It happened in Imola, it happened in the Nürburgring, it happened in the Netherlands last time around, and I'm afraid it will happen here today once again for Luke Maguire. And Philip Krauss, he'll be happy about this because he's currently driving in 2nd position quite comfortably. Of course, it's all Sux. He's been doing a great race so far as he's leading with about 4.5 seconds spare to Philip Krauss.
Just trying to think, as Carlos Martin pits as well. Which will put Sux as well. Yeah. So Krauss leads the race. Krauss
indeed does lead the race. Carlos Martin rejoining, or
that was close,
into the pits just behind Ivan Leonov, I think that was. Or Carlos Martin, sorry, that was Salt Sux.
Yeah, Martin getting the look of the draw with the pit boxes here, as he was just able to just drive straight out. Noah Roivers fighting with Matthew Williams again. And Christian Lazaro under pressure from Jukka-Pekka Lalu here. Whoa, nice drift, Phil. On the exit deck there. Change of overalls, please, for that one.
Sux once again has the clear track, though. He had this in the first pit stop phase. Right now he is, of course, after his pit stop, he's about 12-13 seconds behind Philip Krauss. Krauss, he could try to go to the end. It's a long stretch on his tires. Or he could take the pit stop now. If he rejoins, he will rejoin around Carlos Martin at the moment.
Unless he takes the tyres to lap 30, pits and puts a set of softs on that he can hammer towards the end of the race.
Absolutely, that might be a possibility. Flatterf and Matthew Williams added that again still, by the way.
Maguire is pushing hard. He's just given Marek Godek a bit of a love tap into the spoon curve. And now he's going to try. Yeah, now he's going to try and dive up the inside for 130R.
Dokrev made it stick. Maguire, not so much. Still side by side with Marek Godek. But he manages to get past there. Risky move, though, by Maguire.
Yeah, he's taking too many unnecessary risks here, I think. And with those tyres, he should clear the next 3 cars in front of him pretty easily. So he just needs to drive and not overdrive the car trying to get through. Because that's just going to end up doing what he did at Zandvoort last time out. So, I mean, Phil Krauss could pit now and still get out in front of Maguire at this rate.
Definitely, he would still rejoin in front of Noah Rovers, only behind Carlos Martin. Probably Carlos Martin has been doing some nice lap times, of course, on his fresh tires. Zotsuk, same thing. But I think Phil Krauss just needs to focus to get that second or third place, get a podium finish here today, and then seal the deal in Brazil next time around.
Brazil always a great place to end a season. Can't wait for that one when it happens a couple of weeks from now, as Maguire tries to send it up the inside of Spoon Curve. Almost went into the back of Williams. Really pushing. He's probably going to try and throw it at the inside of the 130R now.
Yeah, probably will do indeed. Here we go. Up the inside already should be a straightforward move now. Yep. Next target for him will be Vlad Tokarev. About 1.5 seconds in front of him now, as Vlad is still battling with Noah Rovers. Phil Krauss still out on track. Of course, his first stint was also about 4 or 5 laps longer than most of his rivals.
So Maguire's got a sort of 2-second gap to Rovers in front. That gap should come down pretty nicely. But Rovers fighting with Tokarev, so if Maguire comes in on the back of this, we're going to have a three-way fight for 5th place. We're looking at Rovers now. Under the bridge. Up towards the hairpin. It looks like Tokarev's managed to sort of displace him a little bit with the compound difference.
Marek Godek, Matthew Williams close to each other still. Christian Lazaro not too far behind either. Even though there's been quite a few DNFs throughout this race, still a lot of battling going on all over the place, as Marek Godek is now trying to go around the outside. Had a little peek there, but decides to not take the move just yet. He will not have to make the move as Matthew Williams comes into the pit lane there. Look, Maguire on Noah Rovers around the outside of turn 1, maybe the inside of turn 2. Now he dives up the inside. No. Had a bit of oversteer into the back of Noah Rovers he goes, and that's a spin for Rovers, losing a lot of positions because of it.
Would that result in a grid penalty for the next round, I wonder?
I'm not the steward, but I don't think they will be kind on him for something like this here. We see on board with him on the replay.
Just throws it at the inside. Twitches into him.
Switches into him indeed. It's difficult to say, but of course Maguire is the guy that's making the move, so he's kind of responsible.
Going for that Hamilton move, yeah. It's very. Oh, Maguire's been off again.
He has been. Oh boy.
Did he lose the rear tyres coming out the hairpin, I wonder?
Let's have a look. Just go straight for another replay. So into the hairpin?
Yep, into the hairpin. Carries a lot of speed.
Oh, he waits.
Oh, he's giving the position back.
Yeah. All right. That's a good sport.
Yeah. Trying to avoid the grid penalty, maybe.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, Leonov's into the pit lane. Phil Krauss maintains the lead thus far. So this lap, I would probably expect Krauss to be in the pit lane, because he's now got a free pit stop to Maguire because of that little incident. So Maguire in behind Alex Albon, Noah Rovers, to try and take the position fairly this time round. He's got a lot of time to make back up.
Maguire is going to have to try again on Noah Rovers, as he let him past just last lap. Good sport for him, and now he's going to have to try and make the move in a clean way around the driver in front of him, Noah Rovers. In the meantime, Philip Krauss is about 6.5 or 8.5 seconds in front of Zultsuks at the moment. Philip hasn't stopped yet. If he would stop, he would rejoin just around Vlad Tokarev in 4th place. Of course, Vlad Tokarev has only made 1 pit stop as well. So Vlad actually in a really nice position as Maguire dives up the inside.
Sorry.
No worries. He goes for that. He goes for that gap. He will have the exit now.
I've been working with Lewis too much.
In the foreground, you also see Ivanov getting past Marek Godek, and Luke Maguire also gets past Norrovers this time around. But once again, maybe a bit too risky diving up the inside there in the Casio triangle.
Lazaro also in the pit lane here.
Matthew Williams got past Jukka-Pekka Lalu there on the start-finish straight. Jukka-Pekka, I think, just came out of the pits, or did he? He's on fresh red tires. I don't know if they're actually fresh. That's the question. They are. 3 laps old. So you would think that he's got some pace. Matthew Williams is on 2-lap fresh old soft tires. So he's going to be pushing these tires hard to catch up to Noah Rovers. Once again, the gap between the two right now is about 10 seconds, 11 seconds. So there's a lot of catching up to do in the next 12 laps until the finish. Let's see what Philip Krauss will do. He is right now on 17 lap old R tires. The gap is 7.5 seconds to Zsolt Sux, who is on fresher medium tires. If Phil Krauss stops now, he could go to the soft tires and perhaps set some fast lap times in and catch back up to at least Carlos Martin. But he could also try to just go to the end with 11 laps to go. I think that's going to be a tough task, but let's see what he will do. Luke Maguire now caught up to Marek Godek in 6th position. Maguire, of course, his tires will be starting to drop off at some point as well. Right now he's driven 7 laps on them. Last time he did 14 laps on a set of medium tires. He's gonna do another 11 if he doesn't do another stop. And I don't think he's been very kind on these tires so far. Maguire had a bit of a peek up the inside there into Stowe.
Stowe?
Spoon.
Which race are you? You just make sure I was paying attention.
Here we go, Maguire. The inside now on the Casio triangle.
Yeah,
it's gonna be tight.
That's a ambitious move into club corner there.
That's the exact same track. Yeah. He has a curvy bit at some point, and then a chicane somewhere. Fast right-handers. Oh, it's pretty much similar. Both of them have an S in the name. But Maguire there got moved on into turn 1. And we'll now be focusing on catching back up to Ivan Leonov, who's about 5 seconds in front of him now.
Yeah, with just 10 laps remaining. Krauss has got a 6-second lead over Zsolt Sux. So Krauss has made everything work in his favour this week. As Maguire made a questionable strategy choice again this time out. Once again, his aggression got the better of him. And there's Phil going through the Casio triangle to end lap number 33.
Yeah, still going on 10 laps to go now, or 9 I should say, as he comes over to start-finish straight now. And I don't think he's going to go in for a pit stop. I guess it could be. Then we have really fresh soft tires that they can push to the absolute limit. But the gap is big enough yet, I think, for him to just try it right now. To go to the end on these hard tires.
He's got the option available to him, should he want to. But if he's comfortable, then he's comfortable.
let's have a quick look once again at those championship standings, because right now they will be quite a bit more mixed up, as Maguire is only in 6th place at the moment, as Philip Krauss is leading. So this would be the standings. This wouldn't be the standings. This would be the standings. So Phil Krauss would be leading with
23 points.
23 points. So basically, you would only have to finish 2 points ahead of Maguire in the next race. And that's really the kind of moves he wants to do. Would be a great result for him today if he gets to finish in first here. But I think we really shouldn't count out Zoltzuks, as he's still catching him.
Martin van Loozenord hasn't turned up for the last few races and he's still in 12th position. So that's a decent return on points for him there. As we're still only 14 runners in the race. Cam Roger bringing up the rear, but still scoring 2 points. So he's just got to finish today. But all eyes between Phil Krauss and Luke Maguire as the championship hots up. Would this be the race that Luke Maguire potentially threw away a championship? Who knows?
Potentially. We'll have to wait and see until the end of this race, and perhaps until the end of the next race. Of course, anything can still happen. It is motor racing after all. Phil Krauss coming into the hairpin here. Car looks still very much planted and controlled. This is how we often see it from Philip Krauss. Ivan Leonov has caught up to the back of Vlad Tokarev now. Vlad Tokarev is on a slightly different strategy than most of these other drivers right now, on 12-lap old medium tires, as Leonov is on 5-lap old medium tires. So it should be a fairly easy move if you consider the tire life. But of course, still have to find a gap somewhere to get around the car in front of you.
That's a huge cut he's taken at the chicane there, but no cut track for Ivan there.
DRS wide open. They come down the main straight, around the outside of turn 1. Gets the move done.
Yeah, it's the sort of move where you've got to know how long your car is, because that could easily end in tears if you've tried to throw it in too early. But these are some pretty decent drivers, some of whom may graduate to WC next year if they impress their teams enough.
Yeah, definitely.
And speaking of WC, that's the next race today.
It definitely is 1840 GMT, so just over an hour from now, the World Championship drivers will be going at it again at this same beautiful Matsusaka circuit. And like we've mentioned already before, it's gonna be a tense race, as the championship fight between Simoncic and Broljak is heated up after a disconnection from the race by Jonas Simoncic last time around in Zandvoort. The gap's down to 11 points, so theoretically if Broljak wins today and wins in Brazil next week, he wraps up the championship. And the other way is a bit more complicated to explain, but Petar Broljak can win it on his own merit altogether. He doesn't need any luck from Jonas Simoncic. If he just gets both the wins, he will get the championship, regardless of where Simoncic finishes.
Nice of Simoncic to sandbag a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, let's see him win by half a minute once again today. Now let's hope we'll get a good race as well, and I hope you as viewers also tune in for that to see if we get a good race, and hopefully stick around when we do.
Ivan Leonov coming through the first sector hit. Got a few cars on the soft tyres, but all those at the front are either on the hards or the middle. Actually, the top 3 is on hards right now.
Do you want to know who's the fastest driver on track at the moment?
Is it Cameron Roger?
It is. He just set the purple lap. Let's have a look. On the soft tire, He did 3 pit stops so far. He's absolutely dead last, but he's got the fastest lap. And will he get one once again? Nope. It's about 6 tenths slower than the last one.
What a unit.
Absolute. Well, at least he's got 38 laps under his belt today, so that's more than he's been doing on average, I think.
Yeah. Well, he scored pretty well at
absolutely.
At Zandvoort last time, didn't he?
Yeah.
Was it 5th or?
Yeah, he finished 4th even. So
4th.
I mean, we can mock him all we want, but he did a great race there last time around.
I haven't mocked him. He's a good lad.
Definitely. Toltsuk's now started to get within striking distance of Philip Krauss. 3 seconds between the two. With only about 4.5 laps to go. Pressure will be starting to build on Philip Krauss. His tires will be starting to go off.
Yeah, Krauss is lapping probably about 3/10 of a second slower than Sux right now, so someone will have to do the math because I'm not doing it.
Yeah, this lap around, I think the drop-off is starting to show for Krauss. In his first 2 sectors, Sux was already about half a second quicker. Let's see what it is at the end. His last lap was a 128.9 for Krauss and a 128.4 for Sux, so about half a second. With 4 laps to go, he would need a bit more than that. With 2 seconds, then he would be about 8 tenths behind him right now. So he needs just a little bit more pace from his car, or a bit more drop-off from tires of Philip Krauss. Of course, Sux is on 13-lap old hards. Krauss is on 24-lap old hards, which is quite a big difference.
That's a bigly difference. But gap 2.5 seconds. So with 3 laps remaining at the end of this one, I think Krauss might just hold on for the win. And if he does, it'll be another tyre strategy masterstroke. Not as big as the one he did at Imola, but still, to go from 5th to the win, not a bad day out.
Definitely not. Matthew Williams starting to catch up to Jukka-Pekka Lalo once again. Both these drivers are on pretty much the same life of soft tires. Pretty much 10 laps or 11 laps. So already at the end of their life right now, tires will be starting to drop off for them. So let's see who can manage them the best. Last lap for Phil Krauss, 28.5. So he's starting to pick up the pace once again. That's actually his personal best, as Sux did a 28.2. So only 3 tenths quicker that time compared to the half a second that Sux was able to take out of him in the last lap.
Yeah, that one might get tasty as they come across the start-finish line with DRS and all that good stuff, as we see Sux.
You can see him, so you
can
start to smell his blood.
There's a wobble.
It definitely is.
There's 2 laps remaining. Well, this is the end of lap 39. No, wait. It's the end of lap 40. It's because the timing screen shows a different way to the rFactor 2 screen. It's been a long day.
Well, it's not over yet. Sux. He's got 2 more laps to try and get past, or at least catch up to Philip Krauss and then get past him. Breaking into the chicane once again, taking a lot of that curb. Wants to catch him.
You would have thought there would be a pretty hefty cut track coded in there, but there isn't, so they're just going to absolutely abuse it.
Yeah, it's on the limit. Of course, the rules say that the game tells you when it's a cut track or not. So yeah, the driver's taking full advantage of that today. Now Zooks last lap around, once again about 4/10 quicker. It's not enough to really catch him up, but he's definitely within striking distance. If there's any small mistake from Philip Krauss, he'll be there to take the opportunity and perhaps go for the win here today.
Yeah, it's going to be a close one. I think Krauss is just going to hang on because the next lap will be the final lap. And Krauss isn't a driver to buckle under pressure, as we see Williams and Lazaro here.
I think they had a slight incident. Williams had an off track, so let's quickly have a look what happened between him and I'm guessing it is Lalu.
Yeah.
Oh, he just went off to the...
Yeah,
had a little spin.
and then dropped the place to, well, I say almost dropped the place to Lazaro, but there's Lazaro. And that's the battle that we've just seen live last time round, as Krauss has now started the final lap.
He has indeed. The gap between him and Zooks 1.3. So, technically, Zooks will have DRS if he catches up those few tenths. But then he'll only have it on the start-finish straight, of course, so might have to try a do-or-die move like we saw last year from Martin Gosby on Peter Broljak in the final lap, the final corner of the final lap. He took the victory from Peter Broljak in a spectacular fashion. Perhaps Zooks will be inspired by that. Right now he's within a second.
Yeah, just about. I think Krauss... Well, I mean, there's the run between Spoon and the 130R into the chicane, isn't there, that he can catch back up at, but I think after that, it's Krauss's victory.
Yeah.
Nice and clean through Spoon, although the tyres will be just hanging on. Boots it at just the right time. Zooks isn't going to be able to do anything down here, nor is he going to be able to do anything into the chicane, as Krauss hammers the stop pedal through the first part of the chicane, through the second part of the chicane, into the final corner. Zooks will have DRS, but it's going to be moot at this point. And Krauss takes victory in Japan.
Great race, great strategy once again by Philip Krauss and HM Engineering to take that victory once again here in Japan. Zooks, great race from him as well. Of course, started from pole position. With the different strategy, though, just not able to catch back up to that strategy choice from Phil Krauss. Carlos Martin was close to Phil Krauss throughout this first part of the race, but then after he did his pit stop, dropped back to third place, but still a good podium finish for him, I think. Ivanov, also a decent race for him. Fourth place, we'll be happy about that. Vlad Tokarev fifth. I think that's also a good result for him. Luke Maguire, not so much a good result, I would say, for him. Down in sixth place after that questionable strategy. Mara Godek seventh after he just really started dropping since lap 1. After he started in second place. Noah Rovers in 8th. Chukapeka Lalo in 9th. Matthew Williams will be finishing in the top 10. And Christian Lazaro 11th. Jao Pitai is 12th, just in front of Edward Batala there. And final finisher today is Cameron Roger, who did get the fastest lap in the end, but it's not really worth anything.
He's got the bragging rights at least, but Cam very happy to finish. As we see the race winner and championship winner-elect, Phil Krauss, coming through the final portions of his cool-down lap to stick it back into his garage and celebrate a job well done. One hand on the trophy. Bring on Brazil.
Indeed. So this would be the championship standings, of course. 3 penalties. So you can see Phil Krauss do some nice donuts here on the start-finish straight. Leading the championship with 23 points. So he only needs about 2 points to get the championship in the end and win that nice trophy together with the IMB Racewear package. Ivan Leonov in third. Of course, don't really get much for that, but still good to see him up there. Maguire, I think he'll be scratching his head. Try and find a way to maybe get a win next time around in Interlagos, Brazil. But will be difficult for him. Of course, coming up later today, we've got the World Championship, 1840 GMT. So that's basically 1 hour from now the qualifying will start. And 20 minutes after that we will go racing for 53 laps around this Matsusaka circuit. Make sure to not miss any of that. Next race will be in 3 weeks time. 2 weeks time, sorry. At the Interlagos track, the Brazilian Grand Prix, the final round of the championships. Make sure to not miss any of that. But for now, for today, I want to really thank everybody for watching. Of course, Aidan, thanks for joining me once again here in the commentary box.
Yeah, it's been great. Great race. Nail biter of an ending. So hopefully Brazil will give us a very entertaining finale.
I'm sure it will. For now, thanks everyone, and I hope to see you all in just an hour's time, and after that in 2 weeks' time in Brazil. Goodbye.